Hello and welcome to the 11th video that I'll be posting in my Unity platformer series. And in today's video, we'll be discussing about animations and not the programming side of animations yet. I'll be discussing about the programming side in the next video. So, as you can see, if we click play right now, our player is actually not animating. Except the fact that it changes its face and vision from left. Right now it's looking to the left, and now it's looking to the right. And jumping, also no animation. So essentially, our player does not have any animations. And in today's video, we will be fixing that. We'll be adding animations to our player. So if you go to Sunnyland here, in our assets, gonna go to Sunnyland, go to the artwork, go to the sprites, go to the player, and there is 6 folders containing animations for our player to use. There's the idle animation, there's the jump animation, run animation, hurt animation, crouch animation, climb animation. However, we'll be discussing about all of those animations later, and specifically, we're gonna make an animation, an idle animation for the player. So click on the idle folder, and as you can see, there are images. And if you see clearly from the side here, you can see that these are actually animating the player right here. Okay? And now what you're gonna do right now is actually go to our windows here, go to our animation, and click on animation. Or you can click Control-6 for easier access. So now we're gonna click on the player so that our animation knows which sprite we want to animate, and then click on create, and it's gonna ask us for a folder. What I usually like to do when I'm making animations is make a specific folder for a specific sprite. So what I usually do, I go to assets, and then I right click and create a folder called player animation, because I want it to be easier access for me when I want to edit these animations. And then click on the Sunnyland again, go to our artworks, go to our sprites, go to our player, go to our idle folder, and then click on the player so that our animation knows once again what sprite we want to add animations on. Then click create, and then select our assets, and go to our player animation, double click it, and then let's name this animation player idle. And now we have a player idle animation. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna drag all the images inside to this animation window. So to do that, we can go to our player idle 1, and this is our player idle 4. So player idle 1, shift, and player idle 4, so we can select all of them, and then drag them to the animation window, release, and now you can space these animations based on your liking. And I usually like 5 frames. Every 5 seconds there's gonna be a new frame. So 5, 10, and 15. Yeah. Now if we click play, we can see our player doing the animation. That seems pretty good. And now we can save or store this animation right over here for a second. And when we click play, it's actually going to animate. As you can see, it's animating. However, we don't have any other animations, and running, and while we're moving, actually, we are actually still idling, and that's not supposed to happen. Idle is supposed to happen when you are just staying still, right? So another component that I would like to introduce to you guys is another animation component, actually. And drag animation to here for a second, just for safekeeping. Go to our windows, go to our animation, and we can see an animator here. In an animator, you can scroll up and down, so you can zoom in or zoom out. And the funny thing about an animator is that when you want to move the animator. You can't move with using your normal left click. You can move with your right click. And what you're gonna do actually is you're gonna click on Alt and then left click, and you can drag and move. That's the key feature of Animator. And inside of Animator, we can see that all of our animations later on, I'll show you that they're gonna be stored in our Animator, and our Animator is actually where we're gonna program things because there are parameters, and these parameters are actually or will act as something or conditions so that they can change. So that's why later on, when we go to the programming side of animations, we can actually program it to stop running or continue running or so on. But in today's video, like I said before, we will be discussing only on making these animations. So you can close Animator for the meantime. Close. And now we're going to go back to our player and create another animation, and I would like to do this as part of a challenge. So the second animation that I would like you guys to make is the run animation. So pause the video right now and try to create an animation called run animation, player run, and inside of it is all of these animations. So pause the video right now and do the challenge. Okay, so I'm guessing you guys have done the challenge, and if you succeeded doing the challenge, good job. Good job for you, and well done. Well, for those of you who don't know how to do this, it's fine. So what you're gonna do is actually really simple. You go to the Windows, go to our animation, and inside of animation, you're gonna go to animation or Control 6 for easier access. Click on our player here, and I don't really like this if it's too big. So what you're gonna do is you resize this. It's up to you actually if you don't want to resize it. If you don't want to resize it, but I'd like to resize it because I prefer width than length. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to player idle, click on the arrow here, and create a new clip. And now I'm going to go to my assets and player animation again once more. And then I'm gonna name this to player run. Okay? And then go to our run folder, click on our start image and click on and shift. Click on our start image and shift, and then go to our last image and then drag them all into the animation here. And you can space things out. And I said before, I'd like to space things out every 5 frames. So yeah, 5, 10, 15. Oh, it's 15. Perfect. 20, 25. Now if we click on the play button here, we can see that the player is actually so small. Well, the reason why this happens is because we forgot that each of these images must be 16 pixels per unit. And we can directly do all of this to directly to 16 by going to the or clicking to the first image and then shift and click on the last image and then change the pixel per unit to 16. 16. And once we apply this, okay, and we're gonna go to our animation window again because I closed it accidentally. Go to our player, go to our player run, and click on play. Now we can see that it's not small anymore. However, as you can see from the image here, if you click play, it'll only idle. It won't change to the run like before. Well, the reason why this happens is because if we go to our Windows animation animator, we can see that play run isn't connected to anything. And the entry here is going to the player idle. So the way this works is by directly telling you that once the player is created, it'll directly go to player idle. And player idle here is the basic or the first animation it will run, and there are no connecting lines here connecting the player run. So player run cannot be accessed by the player. And it's just an animation there that isn't connected and it won't affect the player. If, for example, we click on entry, we click on, here you go, it says entry, make transition to this, right? Then it's gonna ask us for these parameters that we should add. And that's gonna be in the next video. Let me delete this. However, what I would like to show you guys is the fact that, as you can see here, if we click on play right now, click on play, and when we go to the animator, it goes to our player idle because entry, and then it goes to player idle directly. And there's nothing connecting to player run. And if we actually did change this to player run, then the animation that's gonna go is actually player run. However, because player idle is our default animation directly, it's going to only show our player idle. So I'll be discussing more about this actually in the next video, because this is where our programming will be. This is where our programming animation will be. And in tomorrow's video, I would like to introduce to all of you guys these parameters and how to program them properly. And I think that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, understand more about Unity platformer making, and I'll see you in the next video.